Are you planning a trip abroad? Taking a vacation or exploring new cultures overseas can be incredibly rewarding, but it comes down with its own unique set of challenges. With different language barriers, unfamiliar customs, and cultural expectations to contend with, international travel can sometimes feel overwhelming. This video is here to help you make your travels both smoother and more enjoyable. Here's 8 essential tips that no traveler should take off without. Number 1 is to know your passport's expiration. Keeping up to date with your passport expiration is one of the most important elements of a successful international trip, especially when planning. Whether you're taking a short weekend trip or a 6-month excursion abroad, knowing your expiration date for your passport will just save you time and hassle. Before scheduling any international travel, be sure to check the date printed on the front of your passport. It's super important just to know the numbers inside of your passport. I remember my passport number as well as the expiration date, as that is just the most important document whenever you leave the country. In some cases, passports must have at least 6 months of validity remaining before entering into some countries. And without knowing these facts in advance will make preparing for your trip much smoother and less stressful. Number 2 is to convert your money as soon as possible. One very important international travel tip to keep in mind is just to make sure that you convert your money ahead of time. Money conversion fees can be really expensive, so it's beneficial to make the purchase before your trip. Many countries have some sort of currency exchange program for travelers, so exploring these options first and foremost will just save you a lot of time and money. It also can be very important to not bring any cash with you, and you can just take it straight out of the ATM. I often recommend that when you get into a new country, first thing you do is go to the ATM, pay that couple dollars of the fee, and get some cash, as you'll definitely need it. Number 3 is to make sure that your phone plan works. Making sure your phone works abroad is very important for an international trip. If you don't know what sort of coverage you have while abroad, you can find yourself with excessive roaming fees, slow internet connection, or difficulty making calls. To make sure your phone plan has the features that work for your travels, it's just best to contact your provider before you leave home and double check that country that you are visiting is covered under your service plan. Their customer agents should be able to provide you with all necessary information regarding special deals and data packages available in those specific regions. Number 4 is to get necessities like adapters. So another important way to make sure your trip goes smoothly is to get the necessary adapters for whatever country you're visiting. It's essential to know what type of electrical outlet and adapter is needed so that all of your devices are charged throughout and you don't have to worry about that once you arrive. It's always a good idea to double check that the plug type matches what you need, of course. That way there won't be any surprises once you arrive. Number 5, double check baggage requirements. So international air travel involves many different rules and regulations depending where you're going, making it really important to pay careful attention to your baggage requirements. Make sure you're aware of how many pieces of luggage, including carry-on items, you're allowed to bring. Familiarize yourself with the size and weight limits for each item, since exceeding those can result in hefty fees or having your luggage left behind. In addition, ensure that you're aware of any restricted or prohibited items to avoid the risk of being held up at customs. Double checking these details can save time and money on your next trip. Number 6 is to educate yourself about the customs. So becoming familiar with local etiquette, cultural traditions, and religious practices will not only help you to respect your surroundings, but also ensure a much more enjoyable experience for yourself. If the language is unfamiliar to you, taking the time to learn a few key phrases can be extremely useful in navigating airports or when getting around town from one place to another. Make sure that you consider all aspects of a new culture before traveling as much as possible. Doing so will guarantee that you have a safe, educational, and entertaining time away from home. Number 7 is to consider travel insurance. So this is kind of an iffy one, but travel insurance, especially during emergencies, can provide peace of mind when traveling abroad by protecting you against unexpected events such as illness, lost or stolen luggage, or trip cancellation. Furthermore, it can really offer additional benefits such as 24-hour medical assistance and luggage translation services. Make sure to thoroughly research plans to find the coverage most suitable for your needs, and just don't be afraid to ask questions from the providers. Okay, and number 8, check if the country you're visiting requires a visa or vaccination. So when making any international travel plans, especially right now, it's just really important to check the visa and vaccination requirements of the country. Different countries have different entry policies and regulations, which are very essential things to be aware of before your trip. Vaccination requirements can also change based on certain circumstances, like the risk of an epidemic in particular areas. So make sure you are up to date with regulations for your destination. Traveling without the proper documentation can cause major problems and can increase your chances of being denied access into a country. So it's best to be prepared rather than running into potential issues down the road. Now that you know some international travel tips to make your trip go more smoothly, what are you waiting for? Start packing your bags and book that ticket. With a little bit of planning and those helpful tips, you're sure to have a fantastic time on your next adventure abroad. And if you made it to the end of this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel, as we'll come up with new videos like this every week. And we'll see you on the next one.